Hey, good morning. It's 7:04 on this Wednesday, July 14th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. Welcome a Wednesday morning, and we welcome you to Coleman and Company. Glad to have you with us, and glad to be on the air for Cedar Stone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson, Simple Banking, Simply Better. And Bob McDonald is right here with us this morning. Good morning, Bob.
Coleman, good morning.
Nice to see you as always.
Great to be with you. This is 2 weeks in a row that I've been live and in person with you.
Well, I hope everything's going well.
Going terrific, and I hope you're doing well. And we were talking before we got on the air. You watched the All-Star game, and you're not particularly happy with the turnout. But
I'm never happy when the National League loses.
Yeah.
And this is 8 in a row.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
obviously, I don't follow it like that. But
I was so interested I fell asleep. Helen woke me up and said, "I'm going to bed. Good night." By the way, the American League won 5-2.
Yeah. Well, you must enjoy frustration, because if you've been doing this for 8 years in a row now, I would suggest you find something else to watch on that time of year.
Well, there's always next year. Yeah. Actually, there wasn't a last year. I think they skipped it. But anyway, we better talk about banking this morning or something.
Well, we'll talk about something, but it's good to be with you, and we never know what we're going to talk about. Susan asked me this morning, what are y'all going to talk about? I said, I have no idea, honey. So
we are probably the most unrehearsed. When we say live, spontaneous, and unrehearsed, we're the most unrehearsed of anybody,
yes,
I think.
I know it. You know, one thing I noticed that I've been noticing, Coleman, talk a little economics this morning, as we do so many times. You know, we hear a lot in the national news about unemployment and how well the economy is functioning and operating, and you know, I read some analysis a few weeks ago that a family of 4, on average, is earning a little over $100,000 just on the government stimulus benefit programs.
Really?
Yeah. And I found that astonishing, because I don't know how many families of 4 are making that kind of money if they're at the workplace. And the impact that's having, I don't see it as much here in our community as we do around other places in the country. But there's a place that I drive by each morning, come to work, and there's a now hiring sign on the front, and they're even having to pay their workers on the spot for that day of work. So they're not waiting for a week or 2 weeks or a month to get their paycheck. When they leave work, they're getting paid. So that's the kind of incentives we're seeing. And as I drive up and down Highway 70 West Main Street, you see just, you know, now hiring signs everywhere. And so I think that these government benefit programs are keeping some folks out of the workplace. Now, I would hope those folks are starting to change their idea, because starting, I believe it's September 1, those benefits end. And so folks are going to be needing to get back out in the workplace. And I hope it doesn't become problematic for them when they go back and start interviewing for a job. And if the employer asks them, well, what have you been doing the last 10 months? Well, I've been staying home collecting my government check. I can assure you that'll play a role in our decision if we're hiring someone and they've chosen to not get back out into the workplace. But it's an interesting phenomenon we've got going on. You and I talked a little bit about this. You know, for my business, for banking, we're not big proponents of government intervention.
Right.
Now, we understand that we're a regulated industry. We understand why. I mean, we're accepting the public's deposits, and so they need to know that banks are operating in a safe and sound manner. And we understand that, and we embrace that. We very much support those types of regulations, but it doesn't need to be too much. And so I understand some of these benefits, and they were beneficial to small businesses. If the government says you have to close your business, then the government needs to help those folks out.
Yeah.
Fully understand that and agree with that. But I just hope that we can get back to where that's not such a place in the economy in the coming months, that we can get back to where folks are at work, earning a living, and we get back into a more normal type of economic climate. Does that make sense when I say that?
Yeah, of course. I think we would all hope for that. I
Yeah.
don't know how long it's going to be coming, but we'll see.
Yeah.
In the meantime, you've got money to lend. You can get
We
a loan
do.
at Cedar Stone.
We do. Come see us. We do loan money. Coleman, new cars are being bought, new homes are being bought, businesses are buying equipment. People are renovating their home because home supply is so low and home prices are so high. Folks are deciding to stay where they are and fix up their existing home.
Yeah.
So it's a very busy time. We're opening up a lot of accounts. We're seeing a lot of people move to our area from other parts of the country because of how good we have it here, and they want to be a part of it. So we're seeing a lot of people come in from other states who are opening up their Simply Free checking account.
Right, and we just want to make everybody aware that it is free in every sense of the word, and it's maybe even better than some in that, probably better than all, in that you give back those foreign ATM fees.
Yeah, that's exactly right. When you come bank with us and you open up your checking account, you get that ATM or that debit card. If you use another ATM, whether it's locally or around the country or around the world, we'll always reimburse those fees. So there's no charges to use your ATM card.
Well, we're about out of time here, but Bob, thanks for coming by this morning, and we always wish you well, and keep on keeping on.
Thanks,
and all
Coleman.
that good stuff.
Great to be with you.
Cedar Stone Bank.
See you next time.
Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson, Simple Banking, Simply Better. 10:30 after the hour. This is the Wednesday we feature Cumberland University. And Rusty Richardson, I'm not sure he's missed a time since we've been doing this. I don't know. Rusty, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
It is nice to see you again. Rusty, of course, Executive Director of Community Relations and External Affairs. He's got one of the longest titles I have to introduce each time. But good to see you. I hope the summer's going well.
It's going very well. It's very busy. As you and I were talking before, people think it's slow on campus during the summer because the students are gone, but trust me, it's one of the busiest times of the year with all the renovations we have going on, with all the preparation for the next school year. I kid people that Paul Stum only wants me working half-time. He doesn't care which 12 hours a day that is, but that's half-time for him. So he keeps us very busy.
Well, I think we have a lot to talk about this morning. I know you brought a special guest for the first time. I guess we'll introduce in a moment, but you got some topics for today I guess we'll discuss first here.
Yes, kind of a recap of what's happened since the last time we were on here. The biggest thing was this past Saturday night, we had the annual Patrons Party, which is a precursor to the Phoenix Ball. Cannot say enough good things about Denise and Lamont Moore, the host again this year at their beautiful home there on Main Street. We had about 225 guests that arrived and had just a wonderful time there. The weather cooperated. And again, this is a precursor for the ball that's coming up in a few weeks. But just a great activity, great event to raise money for scholarship dollars. And to my knowledge, we raised more Saturday night than any of the 36 previous patrons parties.
Well, that's good news.
Yes, we raised about $40,000 for scholarships. So just a great event. We had some terrific sponsors. There are too many to list all of them, but certainly some of the top sponsors, Tucker's Gap Event Center was the presenting sponsor, Cheers Wine and Liquor, the law firm of Lauer and Cherry, the jewelers, Kevin's Automotive, just a long list of people that supported that and made that night possible. Sammy Bees did the catering and did a fabulous job as always, and it was really a fun event, a safe event, and we look forward to what comes in a few weeks with the Phoenix Ball.
And there will be some more funds derived from it, I take it.
Absolutely. We expect that the Phoenix Ball will raise at least $100,000 more for scholarships for our students. So, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Phoenix Ball in a little bit. Two other things that have happened since the last time I was on. We had about 200 people that attended the Cincinnati Red celebration of Woody Hunt back in June, and that was a great event, although it was hot and humid and a rain delay, but it didn't deter the people there honoring and celebrating Coach Hunt, and I think he was very humbled by that.
I saw the interview. In fact, I was watching the game that night. Didn't get to go. but he did fine in the interview there with Jim Day.
He did. It's not his first rodeo, Bob, for something like that. The other thing that has happened since we were here last time, we had the inaugural Camp Fame, the Arts Camp for Wilson County students. We had about 175 students that participated in that week-long camp. First time, very successful, and just we're looking forward to expanding that next year. And it's just a great activity and getting that many kids on campus, kids from the second grade up to high school. And of course, we hope they'll come back and stay with us for a long time when they graduate and get ready to go to college.
Well, at least if they're, especially in the lower grades here, they learn early on what where Cumberland is, what it's all about, maybe, or at least some of what it's all about.
Exactly. And it's always gratifying when you hear a second grader talking to his parents saying, well, this is going to be my college. So we love hearing that.
Yeah.
And that very much leads us into our special guest today.
All right. Well, introduce him. We'll go to a break.
All right. We have a first-time visitor here. His name is Jamie Vick. He's our Director of Enrollment Services. His sister, Courtney Vick, is also a Cumberland employee. She was here last month, so this is the summer of the Vick family on Coleman Walker.
Jamie, welcome to our program this morning.
Thank you, Coleman. I appreciate you inviting me to be on.
How long you been at Cumberland?
This will be going on my 6th year at Cumberland.
All right. Director of Enrollment Services.
Yes, sir.
So I guess we got a lot to talk about there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll go to a break right here and more coming up here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:16. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Absolute Kubota. They have Red Max, complete inventory of weed eaters, blowers, hedge trimmers for the commercial user and homeowner with up to a 4-year warranty. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic. Here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic's on the increase out here as expected this time of the morning. I-40 coming through Mount Juliet. Right now, all that traffic headed westbound on I-40 towards Davidson County, Nashville. Traffic still looks good down Ellington Parkway. Watch your speed. 24 coming in from Clarksville, Montgomery County there through that section of Cheatham County. Hey, Gatlinburg Wine Cellar is home of the world-famous cotton candy wine. Check out their flavors at GatlinburgWineCellar.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on-time traffic.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. It is a Wednesday, the Wednesday that we feature Cumberland University. Rusty Richardson is here, and we just introduced Jamie Vick, Director of Enrollment Services. So I guess we talk a little bit more about enrollment here with Jamie, right, Rusty?
Yes, that's correct.
You've just stepped into this job fairly recently.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
But you've been at Cumberland for 6 years?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, this, I guess, is a move up, so to speak, and
Yes,
something
sir.
you relish and appreciate. But what are some of the challenges you face?
Well, we're working on our enrollment class for fall 21 right now. It's exciting times. We're hoping to get another record enrollment, which will be awesome. We've started offering some new scholarships as well, which are also exciting to kind of talk about. And it's just exciting to see Cumberland grow and Wilson County grow. Cumberland kind of help Wilson County grow.
Well, what was the enrollment last year?
About 2,700.
So what do you really think?
We're aiming for anywhere between 2,750 and 3,000 students this year, hopefully towards north of 3,000.
Do you have anything to go by at this point, really, indication of where you'll land in that range?
We're hoping around, right now, from what I can tell, around 2,800 to 2,900, which would grow our enrollment by about 200, 250 students.
We have a lot of people in Wilson County who attend Cumberland, don't we?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, a lot of people.
And of course, I'm sure we draw from the surrounding counties, and then really from all over the world, different places. I mean, there's no limitation there, as I understand it.
No, we hit almost every state and about 40 plus countries outside of the USA. So it's a pretty diverse population at Cumberland.
All right here in Lebanon, Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
Well, now, do you anticipate is the plan to continue to grow? I mean, is the goal to grow every year?
It is right now, yes, sir. We're trying to grow enrollment each and every year, and we're building new facilities, renovating the campus right now to kind of facilitate that as well. And it's just, again, it's exciting times right now at Cumberland University.
Well, I'm wondering, this doesn't come under your heading necessarily, but if you get more students, you probably have to have more professors, more to take care of the needs. How's that addressed, Rusty?
Absolutely. In fact, we're hiring a significant number of new faculty members, both full-time and adjunct, for this fall. We have 3 different schools at Cumberland. The LaBrie School of Business, Science, and Technology, with the Rudy School of Nursing and Health Professions, and the School of Humanity, Education, and the Arts. And every one of those schools is hiring new faculty this year.
Wow.
And now we're trying to figure out where do we put them and where do we put the classes. Part of the wonderful problem we have with such tremendous growth the last 5 or 6 years, in fact, the last 5 years, our enrollment's grown by 74%, which is, I would challenge you to find any school in Tennessee that has that type of enrollment growth, but the infrastructure keeping up with it.
Well, Cumberland offers a lot. I mean, I don't think the selling job is all that difficult, is it?
No, we offer quite a bit of scholarships and programs, so it's they kind of come to us. It's not really, it's too bad to sell or too hard to sell, you could say.
Well, I see on the notes here that Rusty handed me, we can talk about the Tennessee Promise, the Phoenix Promise, the Cumberland Promise.
Yes, sir. So Tennessee Promise we've had for the past 4 or 5 years already, and that's where Tennessee high school graduates can come and get their associate's degree tuition free. We're one of the only private universities in Tennessee that offers that program. So that's helped drive our enrollment growth these past couple years. We're really proud of the Phoenix Promise, which is a new program this year where higher need families and students can get their junior and senior years paid for tuition free as well. So they're not only earning their associate's degree for tuition free, but their bachelor's degree as well.
Right.
So we're excited about that program and bringing that on board.
What's the Cumberland Promise?
The Cumberland Promise is actually a program for anybody with an associate's degree to transfer to Cumberland, or if they already at Cumberland and earn their associate's degree, they can earn a scholarship for their junior and senior years, which is also a pretty significant. That way they continue on. They don't just get their associates, but they're able to earn their bachelor's degree as well at Cumberland University. And that's not only Tennessee-based, but any community college in the USA.
If somebody is considering Cumberland, maybe are you maybe the first contact if they've got a question about some of this that's available, they would call your office?
Yes, sir, absolutely. They can email enrollment@cumberland.edu or call 615-547-1243.
And as far as early college and dual enrollment, you want to talk a little about that?
Absolutely. We're proud to offer those programs as well at Cumberland University. Dual enrollment is for any junior or senior in high school. It's their ability to earn college credits either on our campus or they're also online versions of it as well. And we'll also send professors out to these high schools to teach classes. And again, they're not only earning high school credit for their graduating high school diploma, but
everybody that probably is not ready for that, but those who are capable in carrying an extra load, that's just getting your education done sooner.
Yes, sir. And that's the exciting part about the early college program that we've had for the past year, maybe 2 years. That is actually where juniors in high school start taking full-time college classes as part of so they're at that time they're not only earning their high school diploma with these classes, but by the time they graduate as seniors, they will have their associate's degree as well. So they've got a 2-year head start on their incoming.
Wow. And what's the Tennessee Reconnect?
Tennessee Reconnect is similar to Tennessee Promise. It's for our older population, maybe non-traditional students, you could say. And that is like Tennessee Promise, where they can earn their associate's degree tuition-free through that program. So it's just for our older generation and possibly people that have been to college or tried college and left, they can come back.
Well, I know you're wanting to make college education as affordable as possible. Some of what we've just talked about are ways to do that. Do you have other ways?
Yes, sir. We offer a ton of scholarships. Like I said, we mentioned some here. We also have endowment scholarships, which we're proud of, from local people, other graduates, things like that have endowed us scholarship money to give to our students and keep it affordable. We take all federal and state aid as well. It keeps college affordable. So there are a lot of ways to earn scholarships at Cumberland University, which we're proud of. For a private university, there's not too much out of pocket for a majority of our students.
I think you've just had phenomenal growth, and Rusty, what we've talked about getting there early to find a parking space when it goes to work. That's some of what goes with the territory, I guess. But it seems like we're growing as here in the county as people move here. But Cumberland is growing, I think, maybe equally or even more. And I keep wondering, too, how much bigger you're going to get. And as you alluded to earlier, where you're going to put everybody. It's a good problem to have, isn't it?
It's a great problem to have, Coleman. The short-term goal, relatively short-term goal, is to get enrollment up to about 3,500 students. Now, to do that, we're going to have to build some new buildings, some new residence halls. We can house about 600 students on campus out of the 2,700, 2,800 total enrollment. But we're going to have to build some new residence halls. We're going to have to build some new classrooms. And all those plans are in the works. But it just takes time and money and resources and some good strategic planning to get there. So,
yeah,
and Paul Stone's doing a great job with that.
I would think, Jamie, that's that's a good answer for those who are wondering about the future. I mean, you're growing, you're innovating, you're coming along.
Yes, sir.
Part of something that's getting bigger and bigger all the time.
Yes, sir. And that's what the renovations and the buildings Rusty is talking about. It's why we're building them, is because we're getting bigger and we need room for these students and newer spaces for these students to learn.
Well, anything else you want to tell us? We've got a few more things Rusty wants to talk about. We'll finish up with you here. It's nice to have you.
I appreciate the invite on the show. Always enjoy listening. But no, my main thing this morning was to talk about the Phoenix Promise, which we're really proud of implementing this year for our high-need families or high-need students, that they can get their bachelor's degree tuition free at Cumberland now. It's not just an associate's degree.
All right. Well, if anybody wants to contact you, give the phone number and your website again, if you will.
It's enrollment at cumberland.edu is our email, and then the number is 615-547-1243.
Okay. Well, Rusty, we'll finish up talking about some upcoming events.
All right, thanks. Just one last comment on keeping college affordable. For many parents that are facing college for the first time for their children, they just automatically assume, well, a private school is going to be a lot more expensive than a public school. Mm-hmm. And I would encourage them to look deeper into that, because you can't just look at the sticker price for any college or university with all the scholarships and programs they have. So dig deeper in that, and you'll find it's more affordable than many may think. So on to some of the special events. We're now just a few weeks away from the Phoenix Ball. Everything's in place for that, and we are putting the final touches on it, the final bow. Of course, we did have one very bad thing that happened this past week or 2 weeks ago. One of the co-chairs, it's chaired this year by Ray and Stephanie Hubner, and on July 4th, Ray Hubner was in a serious accident. The good news is he is recovering. It's a slow recovery process. So that was a little unexpected problem certainly for Ray and Stephanie, but we continue to send our thoughts and prayers to both of them for a full and complete recovery. But we've got completely sold out the event back in May. First time it's been sold out that quickly. In fact, we still have people looking for tickets, and we have to tell them we're sorry we don't have any more seats available.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a great event, and again, all of that goes for raising money for scholarships for Cumberland students. Just 2 weeks after that, school starts back up. We have freshman orientation on August 20th, first day of class August 23rd. And unlike last year with COVID, where we had hybrid classes and only half the students on campus on any given day, this fall we're going to have them all on campus every day. So that parking issue that you mentioned earlier is going to become a big issue for a lot of people. But and everything's relative. If they think they park 200 yards away from the building they're going to, they think that's a problem, but they don't realize if they were at bigger schools, they could be 2 or 3 miles away from a building. So the small campus does have its advantages.
You've experienced that, right, Jamie?
I have, yes, sir. Definitely true.
One of the other big things coming up this fall, which is the first time we've done this, is on October 1st, we're having the Cordell Hall Peace Forum. It's the 150th anniversary of his birth. One of Cumberland's most famous, most prominent, most influential alumni ever. And on that day, we're going to have former Vice President Al Gore on campus giving a talk about Cordell Hull and his involvement with the creation of the United Nations and just the impact that he had on the world when he was in that role. He was our longest serving Secretary of State in the country's history.
Will this be a continuing thing, or is this a one-time?
It will be continuous, and we'll have other things throughout the month celebrating that, other speakers, other lectures. We'll have on public display his Nobel Peace Prize on campus for people to come by and see, an original signed charter for the United Nations. And again, younger people now don't really know his contribution, so we're trying to educate them on what an impact he had on the country and on the world.
Yeah, well, he certainly did. We are out of time, but it's good to have you here today. We'll look forward to your appearance next month, Rusty. And Jamie Vick, thanks for coming this morning. Appreciate your input today. That is part one of Coleman and Company. We hope you'll keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:31. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Bates Ford and the Works Vehicle Checkup. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. $49.95 up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal. They've got tire rotation and safety check too. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Busy out here where you would expect. 24 coming in from the Jolton area. 24 up by Harding Place. You got all that traffic flow coming in from Rutherford County. Traffic still moving down through Mount Juliet, out of Wilson County, down I-40 as you make your way into Hermitage. Gatlinburg Wine Cellar is home of the world-famous cotton candy wine. You can check out all their flavors at GatlinburgWineCellar.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
She's taken care of you your whole life. Now it's your turn to take care of her. But with a family of your own and other responsibilities, there just aren't enough hours in the day. That's why it might be time to call the Pavilion Senior Living. From bathing, dressing, housekeeping, and meals, the Pavilion Senior Living is committed to being senior living you can trust for your loved one. Find out more at pavilionseniorliving.com or call 444-5556. That's 444-5556.
Hey Lebanon, what's for dinner? If you find yourself asking or answering this question often, you're in luck because I have the answer for you. The Edge Food and Drink at Lebanon Country Club is now open. The newly remodeled restaurant is open to the public Tuesday through Sunday and is the newest gathering place for lunch, dinner, or watching your favorite teams. Follow The Edge Lebanon on Facebook and Instagram to see weekly food and drink specials and live music lineups. Check them out online at theedgelebanon.com. See y'all there.
This is Philip Etherly with Absolute Rental and Supply. Whether it's cleaning, painting, remodeling, or simply getting better organized, we have the tools and equipment to get the job done. Scaffolding, paint sprayers, ladders, power saws, portable heaters, temporary lighting, generators, hardwood floor staplers, from wallpaper steamers to bulldozers, Absolute Rental has what you need. Call 615-443-RENT. Absolute Rental and Supply. We have what you need.
This is Bob McDonald with Cedar Stone Bank. For 17 years now, we've been serving our communities in Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Donaldson. We can serve you in the way that best fits your needs. We have all the banking technology, we have beautiful buildings, but more importantly, we have great people. On behalf of our board of directors, I thank you for banking with us. If you don't currently bank with us, please come by and visit us in any of our locations. It would be our pleasure to talk with you about how simple banking is simply better.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Today's forecast calls for mostly sunny skies, but a few isolated showers are possible. Temperatures this afternoon will reach the upper 80s. On Thursday, skies will be a mix of sun and clouds with just a slight chance of rain. Highs on Thursday top out in the upper 80s. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's Look at Your Forecast. I'm meteorologist T.J. Scott.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to part two of Coleman and Company here on a Wednesday. We welcome Philip Hadley to talk about Absolute Rental and Supply. Just remember that phone number, 615-443-RENT. Good morning.
Good morning.
And how are you? Busy?
I'm doing great this day.
Everything running good?
Everything's running good and steady. Everything's going good.
We've had some rain. The drought, the mini drought is over for at least now. And I guess that I don't know whether it's helped or hurt. It couldn't hurt you.
Oh, it definitely helped. Yeah, we needed some rain. I was beginning to see a lot of yards going brown, start turning. You could see where every rock there was in somebody's yard was. But we're very thankful that we're getting some rain.
Yeah. Well, what do you want to talk about today? You have everything from wallpaper steamers to bulldozers.
Exactly. Yeah, we've got a lot of.
And you also, we got what you need. I was listening to your commercial. Yeah. We got what you need.
We have what you need. That's right. But like I say, this time of year, I talk about it a lot. I like it because it's wide open, but also people can schedule a little bit better as opposed to just if you pin up demand, if it's too wet to do anything or too cold to do anything, then all of a sudden, as soon as it gets dry, as soon as it gets warm, you're just absolutely slammed.
Yeah.
So right now we're in a good time. Everything's just pretty steady, and people can make their reservations. And there again, that we really do encourage people to call. Let us know what kind of project they're doing to make sure we have the right equipment for the right job. Make it the right application, because we want people to get their job done the most efficiently way possible. And we also want to make sure our equipment's being used properly as well, not getting tore up. So we do ask a lot of questions, but we do try to schedule and make sure people can get the right equipment.
Well, you've got a good thing going here. And when you look back and remember, and just remind everybody, you've been doing this now for 20 years. 20 years last month. Yep. So you got to be doing something right. And the fact that you want to take care of your equipment, but want them to know how to use it and do the job right, that goes a long way to overall satisfaction. People get the job done, get it done right, bring your equipment back in pretty good shape.
Exactly. And it is very important because we want to make sure the equipment's right. We learn something new every day. We're constantly changing and evolving. I go back to the store a lot of times. I'll see something. I'll say, "Hey, we need to change this. It's an ever moving deal. It's not like, oh, this is the policy and this is the way to be for the next 20 years. So it's constantly changing, but we're trying to make sure that we can service our customer. Our delivery is a huge part of our business. We try to always get the equipment there a little early. But a lot of people don't understand. They think, oh, you can just drop it off. Just drop it off at such time, and then we'll come back. We really, and we've gotten really hard on this lately is no, somebody's got to be there not only to sign the contract, but we need to make sure we properly show you how to operate the equipment. And it's really important to get that done. So anyway, like I said, a lot of people get aggravated, I think, because we ask a lot of questions. But like I said, we just want to make sure it's a good customer experience.
For the common good.
For the common good. That's right. There you go. That's good. Yep. For the common good.
Good for you. It's good for them.
Exactly.
Any really hot items right now?
The dirt moving equipment's wide open right now. All the skid steers and the mini excavators, our larger dozers are out. Stuff like that, the aerial lifts. Like I said, it's a good time for us because it's a little bit of everything. It's not just a rush on a particular piece of equipment or type of equipment. So, we're really just pretty hitting on all cylinders right now.
But it's the good old summertime, and if you got a project that you need to do, you don't have the equipment, of course, you can always go online, see what you have available, and you may not even know exactly what piece of equipment you need to get the job done you want. Here again, you can call 443-RENT and talk to somebody.
Yep, and we do this a lot. We recommend other if we feel like if we don't have it or we feel like there's a customer may not be able to be capable of doing the job, we recommend a lot of subcontractors to do things, and we want to make sure that customer gets taken care of.
Yeah.
And so we may lose a rental, but the customer gets their job done in an efficient way. And so we try to do a little bit of, like I said, we just try to take care of the customer. Bottom line.
You've always had convenient hours, and you still do convenient store hours. You might mention those.
Yep, we're open from 7 to 6 Monday through Friday, and 7 to 4 on Saturdays. And we feel that's very important to be able to allow that customer to come most places close at 5, we close at 6, but that extra time to get in there and bring that piece of equipment back, and then for us, we can have it ready to go out the next morning. So it's a win-win for both of us.
All right. Well, remember the website's absoluterental.com.
That's
and
correct.
The phone number 615-443-RENT. And but between those two, you ought to get the job done.
Exactly.
See you next Wednesday.
All right.
Thank you so much. Philip Etherly with Absolute Rental and Supply. We're about 21 before the hour, and it is my pleasure today to be able to introduce our new Director of Schools, Mr. Jeff Luttrell. Jeff, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
It is nice to see you, and let me say, this is the first time I've seen you or talked to you for quite some time, especially since you were appointed the Director of Schools, so let me say congratulations on your appointment.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I've known you a little bit for a good while. You were principal at Watertown High School, and I've got to say, I have yet to hear anybody say anything negative about the job that you did at Watertown High School. I've heard nothing but compliments, and from several different people, some people up there who were around a lot more than me, so you did a good job there too.
Well, I appreciate that, and then we had a lot of great teachers and staff and students, but that was a joy and a pleasure, and I've got a lot of fond memories of Watertown.
Well, you had a meeting Monday night, and normally you would have been here yesterday, but our calendar didn't fall just right because of the 4th of July. We'll get to the meeting a little bit later, but for those of our audience who don't know much about you, I know that you went to Cumberland University and you were principal at Watertown, and I know the family you married into, but other than that, I don't know that much more about you. Tell us a little bit, if you will, about your background and how you got to where you are.
Well, I'm originally from Kentucky and ended up coming here to Lebanon years ago, I guess in 91 to attend Cumberland University and play baseball for Coach Hunt. That's how I ended up here, and played ball there at Cumberland, baseball, and went through their education program, graduated, and began working, stayed here and lived in Lebanon. Was hired at Trousdale County and spent 6 years there. And during that time, coached and taught and just worked, and met my wife during that time, moved to Watertown, married her, and then came to Watertown Schools to teach shortly thereafter, and been a part of Wilson County Schools ever since.
Well, it's really, I guess it's a daunting task to take over a big school system like we have here in Wilson County, and there's certainly there's some challenges that the job presents, but you took over, understand, July 1st, and are now our Director of Schools. I guess that was your first board meeting this past Monday night.
That is correct. Yep. So my first day as the official Director of Schools was July 1, and then we did have a board meeting.
But now you have been a part of the central office for a year or two, so I would think that this has enhanced your understanding of the system and maybe some things going on that you were exposed to that you wouldn't have had you remained principal at Watertown.
Yes, that's correct. You know, a couple of years ago, I left principalship and came to central office and worked in HR. And during that time, you're right, it exposed me to our district and the inner workings, and gave me a view that I would not have had the opportunity if I'd not been inside and working.
Well, what I would like to do, we've got a couple of minutes before we go to a break. I'd like for us maybe to discuss Monday night's meeting when we come back. But how do you view our situation? I mean, we're coming out of COVID. We've had 2 schools that were destroyed that are being built, and I think we hopefully do see light at the end of the tunnel, and that things are looking better. But to kind of assess the situation as you see it here as you take over.
Well, you know, there's a lot going on. It's been in the education world for everybody in the last several months. It's been very, very difficult. And COVID itself, dealing with that, maneuvering around that, and then also the tornadoes destroyed two of our schools. And I'll give you an update, I'm sure, here in a minute on them. We're making some progress there and excited about that. And then, of course, how do we handle COVID going back into the school year? That's a concern for everybody, and we've been spending time on that. We've discussed that, and the board voted on some protocol this week. So there's a lot out there, but there's always a lot out there. This is a large district. And so there will always be something, and, I just hope that I can provide the leadership to look at it, gain as much information, and always make the best decisions for students and teachers and families.
Well, of course, you answer to the school board, and there are 7 members there. I hope you're off to a good start.
We are. You know that, of course, the hiring process is pretty intense. A lot of people don't understand how intense, but and it should be. This is a huge responsibility, and it's our citizens and our students and our families. They deserve that. So, but yes, we've been fine, and we had a great meeting this past week, and I appreciate them being willing to step up and serve as well, because, through the process, I've stressed to them, I work for them. I don't get a vote, I don't get to make a motion, but I work for them and try to take what they do and what they see is of high need and where we need to go and implement that on a daily basis.
Yeah, and they don't get paid a lot for what they do, and about the most that you can please all the time is about 50%.
Yeah.
There are decisions that have to be made, and sometimes they aren't popular, and so I guess we have to give credit to anybody that's willing to put themselves out there and take some of the criticism that's going to come being a school board member.
It does, and the one thing I'll tell you here in 14 days, I've been impressed with how each of them are engaged and concerned, and they're working hard daily. And you're right, it's a very tough position, but they're doing an outstanding job, and I look forward to working with them.
Jeff Luttrell, the new director of schools, is my guest. We're going to take a break right here, and we'll come back and talk about Monday night's meeting here on Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
And it's 7:46. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Absolute Kubota, Red Max, complete inventory of weed eaters, blowers, hedge trimmers for the commercial user and homeowner with up to a 4-year warranty. Located at 1506 West Main. Absolute Kubota. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic still moving right now here on 24 as we check it out live up through the Hickory Hollow area, coming in from Rutherford County, wrapping up a crash in the 500 block of Bell Road, South Nashville. I had traffic backed up a few minutes ago. Along with that one at Dickerson Pike and Broadmoor, should be out of there in just a few more minutes. Watch your speed. Lots of radar this morning on 24 coming in through the Jolton area. Ripley's Aquarium, PJ Party with the Penguins coming up July 30th and 31st. Check it out at Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on-time traffic.
Hey Lebanon, what's for dinner? If you find yourself asking or answering this question often, you're in luck because I have the answer for you. The Edge Food and Drink at Lebanon Country Club is now open. The newly remodeled restaurant is open to the public Tuesday through Sunday and is the newest gathering place for lunch, dinner, or watching your favorite teams. Follow The Edge Lebanon on Facebook and Instagram to see weekly food and drink specials and live music lineups. Check them out online at theedgelebanon.com. See y'all there.
Coleman & Company, thanks for joining us here on this Wednesday morning. Jeff Luttrell is with us, our new director of schools. And let's talk about the meeting Monday night. Your first Board of Education meeting to be there as the director of schools. I'm sure you've attended many of them in the past.
Yeah, we did meet Monday night in regular session, and I'll go over some of my report. Gave a report on our summer learning camps. We've had over 860 students enrolled this summer at various sites, and bus has been running, picking them up, and that's been fun to watch. I've been at a few of the sites and watching our teachers and students, and these learning camps hopefully will help us in get our kids back in the routine, address some of the learning loss. But, most importantly, what I watched in these classes where kids were really doing a lot of fun projects and learning STEM and some building of things. And so it's been a good time. And I can report that everything's went very smoothly. I think, the first day or two is always or some adjustments, but I've been very impressed with that in our learning camps.
Is school system getting some reimbursement from the state for doing that?
We are. That's coming from some of that federal money, and we're also excited. We'll expand on that when school started back. We will introduce our some tutoring opportunities after school with paid tutors that will be our teachers. And so that'll be a continuation. But yes, all that is being funded out of our ESSER money.
Well, I think especially with the situation we had last school year, that was an important thing, and especially for some of those to maybe kind of get caught up and continue their learning, stay up as much as possible.
Yeah, and I think moving forward, it'll be interesting to see. This is a nationwide issue. That we'll see these continue for a while. And I think it's got a chance to really assist a lot of students and families during summertime. But that went really well and is going well. We'll finish up 23rd. So a lot of these kids are spending several weeks participating in that. I also gave an update on the Stoner Creek Elementary demolition. It's down. That building is down, and just there's some cleanup left, but we are excited about that. And right in front of that, our West Wilson project, there's about to complete, hopefully will be completed with the abatement process inside, and then those demolition crews will move right up there hopefully next week and start taking that building down. And also, during that meeting, we announced our bids for Stoner Creek Elementary. The bid process will be released here at the end of the week. We're going to open bids August the 5th, central office, and see who wins that contract to construct that school. And so we need to get that going as quickly as possible, of course, but I think that'll help some that community of Mount Juliet. That's another process in rebuilding from this tornado, and so we're excited about that.
Will either one of these or both of them be done by this time next year? Or close?
Well, you know, that's a tough question to answer. They're telling us 14 months from start date. Of course, that's all dependent, Coleman, on the weather in the winter and the spring rains. So,
to be realistic, we're probably talking about the middle of the next school year.
Yeah, that would be a realistic. And if it's before that, we'll be excited. But yeah, that's kind of what we're shooting for on that building. And then once we get that going, we'll get back in the planning phases, and we're already in the planning phases, but we'll get at the table and see what we've got to do to come right behind that and get ready to rebuild West Wilson Middle School also.
All right, other things in your report you want to tell us?
Did give a report on projected enrollment. I think this is important, and please understand this is what's on our books. These numbers came 7-9, so they're a little bit old already and already changing. But total numbers, that's what's on our books, what's enrolled, is 19,062 students. And that is up from 537 students from the end of year of 21. Now, please understand, this is fluid. I've already talked to some schools, and we're getting new students every day. There's some students that have not withdrawn that will withdraw. So it takes usually 10 to 15 days after the first day of school for that to settle, but the trend looks like we're going to be up again in Wilson County schools for enrollment. And, we'll not be surprised if we're setting at 600 to 750 new students here in Wilson County.
Well, in excess of 19,000 anyway.
Yeah, we feel comfortable. That's where we're going to be. So, and I'll keep the board updated on that as we move along. And then probably the biggest thing that probably got the most attention was I brought a recommendation for the safety protocols for COVID-19 to the board to be voted on, and they did approve it. And we're going to start the school with face coverings or masks being optional for all students and staff. And we covered some other things, and we're making a push this week of getting that information out on our websites and all of our school sites.
Was there much dialogue from the board members on that proposal? I'm thinking that might be some that are pretty hard set for and some pretty much against.
Well, it passed 7-0.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think I want everybody to understand, none of us take this issue lightly. This is a tough issue, and but what in discussing this with them, and I know individually some of them have talked to me, and what I looked at our community, where we're at. I looked at our state, where we're at, what we're seeing, what's going on. Of course, you look at the data and the numbers, and you try to gather all that together. I also reached out last week several directors that I know in surrounding counties, and I think this is pretty much going to be the norm. I saw where Metro is pretty much following pretty much the same protocols. And with that, though, did stress that all of these procedures and protocols are subject to change. There's things unknown we don't know. And I would love to say we're going to stay this way, but I don't think that's wise. And we're always going to make decisions, and I will always stand up and make decisions of what's best for students and our families and our teachers with the information we have. And so I thought that was important that we got that in there. We will be still, they did approve, we'll still be looking at quarantine situations with the Tennessee Department of Health. We'll continue that. CDC has changed and telling us that social distancing at 3 feet is acceptable. That's better for the schoolroom. We'll try to do that as best possible. But that's pretty normal if you think of how classrooms are arranged, a lot of our classrooms, and we'll have room, we think, to do that. And then our principals, they've been on the front line of this thing. And, when I've been in the schools and watched, I'm amazed at some of the ideas they've come up with to try to keep their faculty and students safe. And our hope is we don't have to revisit this. That's what I'm hoping. But we are continuously, I want everybody to know, we've got a staff, and we're looking at this every day, and it's on top of our minds.
All right, what's the schedule as far as school starting? It's around the 2nd of August, I think, but I don't know exactly.
You got it. First day for teachers back is August 5th. We'll bring them back, get them in the buildings, and they'll take care of their training, although a lot of them's been training all summer. We've had administrators in this week. They're currently going through administrative week and giving their information. But our first student day is August 5th, and that's always an exciting time. And, if you're in this business and you don't get a little nervous leading up to that and excited at the same time, and this will be my 28th year, I guess, and that's always a fun week to watch those kids come back to school.
Now, what about, are you fully staffed? I guess there's usually a little bit of fruit basket turnover, some moving parts here, some retire, some move to another school, some principals change. Have you got most of that in place?
We're I would say 95, 98% complete. July 26th, we're going to bring our new teachers in for orientation. They're going to go to their buildings. We're going to do a lot of that virtual from the central office, getting their training and information. And looks like it's going to be about 200 new teachers. So yes, there's always some movement, but we're finishing up and we're really excited. Really want to give a shout out to our transportation department. Mr. Jerry Partlow, he told me Monday, he told me that if we started school on Tuesday, he thought he had every route covered. Now, there's been a little movement since then. A couple of people have retired, but I know being in HR, we've got some drivers that are training now. And so they've worked extremely hard to try to get enough drivers in a very tough environment, hiring people, everybody you talk to. So I'm excited and do think that when we open, we're going to be in better shape than we were when we closed with the transportation, and we want hopefully that trend will continue.
Well, there's when you talk about over 19,000 students throughout Wilson County and number of high schools we've got and growth on the, you as director, you're already thinking 5 years ahead what schools we're going to have and how all this is going to come about. So the job's not easy, but you did ask for it.
I did ask for it. You're exactly right. And again, I'm humbled. I'm proud. I'm a product of this system professionally, and this community's been great to me. It's where I've chose to raise my family. So I will work at it. I won't be perfect. I tell everybody that. But I will. I will try every day to serve all students and all families in this district.
Well, it's one other thing. We got about 2.5 minutes here. We hadn't mentioned sports hardly at all, but football usually starts this time of year. And I guess what I'm thinking about, we've had, there's been some curtailment, some tournaments that wasn't even held part of the time in COVID. But as you look at it now, it sounds like everything is almost as much as possible back to normal.
Yes, TSSAA, we watched that this summer as their board met, and they're going back they're opening back up with scrimmages and the whole 9 yards. And, we just hope we can continue. The one thing, and I had a conversation with somebody the other day that made a very valid point, and I've thought about it, and they're dead on. The one thing that I think we've learned through COVID is regardless of where people are at, people are now more conscious of their surroundings, of their behavior, what we're doing, and I think our kids too. So we're hoping that we can. But yes, our sports we're full swing right now, Wilson County and surrounding counties, and that's a good thing. That's a source of pride and really a source of glue for our communities. And we just hope we can continue that. And but we will be looking at it and always looking at the information and trying to make the best decision.
Well, I know you have your school calendar. You probably got it memorized. I'm just wondering, we start school there in August. There's a fall break. How's that going to be?
I don't have that in front of me. I think we went back to a 1 week. I think that, and that's something coming up that I'll be bringing to the board pretty quick, discussing with them, because we do those calendars on a 2-year cycle. And they have to be approved a year in advance. So that's something we'll be working on with the board.
Okay, well, this
getting
year's
ready.
already
Yep, it's already set.
determined.
Yes,
All right.
and that's on our website, and families can go there.
All right. Well, it's nice to have you here, and we're going to look forward to your visit. Hopefully, after the morning after each board meeting, we've pretty much got you scheduled. I think it's the first Tuesday of the month, but the lady there that takes care of this and keeps us straight, she'll intervene, and we'll look forward to your visit once a month. And Jeff, just enjoyed having you here this morning. We congratulate you again on the job and wish you the very best. And thanks for being with us this morning.
Thanks, Coleman. I appreciate it.
All right, that is it for Wednesday. I hope you'll join us tomorrow for the Thursday edition. And until then, I wish you a wonderful day.